Now, the question is, am I going to feel better by doing that? And the answer is very likely yes. Because once you see the impact that your actions have, that's going to feed back to you in a rewarding way. The truth is that all of us experience negative thoughts or negative emotions. We have those days that they don't go right for us. Nothing seems to go right. But what if I told you that there is a way you're able to use a negative moment to your advantage? Because by understanding negativity, where it comes from, and the impact it has on us, we can use that information to our advantage in order to turn negativity into an opportunity for growth and even into positivity. And I'm going to share in this video different techniques that you can use to help you reframe and change your perceptions about negative thinking, your negative feelings, and how you can overcome them. Negative thinking and negative feelings impacts our ability to live life in the way we want to, because it can contribute to stress, anxiety, and even depression in the longer term. So we cannot underestimate just how potent and impactful negative thinking can be. So these techniques are really going to help you to provide like a weaponry and an arsenal within you to help defeat negative thinking and stave it off and prevent it from overwhelming you. So let's get into the techniques. The first one is reframing. This is a very simple yet effective way for you to change a negative thought into something that offers more opportunity for growth or to something more positive overall. So an example might be, you might say to yourself, I failed, I'll never succeed, I'll never be able to accomplish this goal. Whereas if you reframe it, you just say, I've made a mistake, but I have the opportunity to learn from this mistake and do something better next time, or get it right next time, or perform better next time. You are taking a negative experience, and instead of allowing that negative experience to overwhelm you and define you, which is I failed, I'll never succeed, which are these concrete statements, you're scaling back from those emotions and you're just noticing the reality, which is I failed during this time. Why did I fail? Well, I've made this mistake, or I've made these series of mistakes, which means that I know where to work on and what to address for next time. So I can only get better next time. And so next time I'll probably pass. And even if I don't, I'll become even stronger the round after that. So you are identifying areas you can work on, and you are not defining yourself and your ability by that one mistake or that one failure. Another example is, I'm terrible at public speaking, or I cannot speak in public. You might have this thought, and it's quite a common thought because a lot of us kind of feel intimidated or nervous, not just in terms of speaking in public, but making it more engaging and getting the audience to really attune to us, as I'm trying to do now. But another way to reframe that is, public speaking is challenging for me, and you may know why. For many reasons it may be challenging, but every time I practice, I improve. Or every time I'm going to speak in public, there's an opportunity for me to focus on one area, improve it, experiment with it. So you become curious and you allow yourself the space and freedom mentally to engage and practice the skill. Because at the end of the day, these are all skills. Just focus on your own perception of anything negative that comes in and how you can reframe it. So that's reframing. The second technique is gratitude. Now, this sounds so obvious and simple, yet this is probably one of the things that's mostly taken for granted, including me. I don't think I practice gratitude nearly enough. It's only when I'm feeling quite low or stressful myself at certain points where I then resort to journaling or doing some gratitude practice. But I think gratitude is probably a good thing for you to do every day if you can. But let's say you're stuck in traffic, you're feeling frustrated. That's the perfect moment to practice gratitude. Like, at least I'm in a warm car. At least I'm going to go home and be able to relax later. So use it as an opportunity to focus on, what am I grateful for? What things do I have in my life? Rather than having always the focus on what's going wrong or what I don't have in my life. So gratitude really is simple, yet it really, really does work. The next is self-compassion. Now, you'll notice a bit of a theme because some of these techniques do overlap with each other somewhat, but self-compassion, again, is crucial because that's almost a consequence of you practicing reframing and gratitude is where you are just kind to yourself. So when you notice the thought of, you're such an idiot, or why did you do that? Just say, I've made a mistake, and it's okay not to be perfect. It's okay to make mistakes. So I'm going to allow myself to make mistakes. By having that self-compassion, it takes the sting away from that negative statement, where normally it can kind of make us feel angry or frustrated or quite low. By practicing self-compassion, you are softening the blow, you're taking the sting out, and you're reminding yourself and remembering what you're trying to work on. So self-compassion really is an absolute must when it comes to turning negatives into an opportunity. The fourth technique is mindfulness and meditation. This is where you play an observer role. So you kind of divorce yourself from the thoughts and feelings by noticing them and placing your intention instead of whatever kind of meditation you're doing. But the skill of this is that it allows you to practice separating yourself from your thoughts, from your feelings, and you're more likely to be able to observe what thoughts and feelings you're having because you've consciously decided to dissociate from them. So now you're becoming more of an observer. And by doing this more and more, you're practicing the skill of catching yourself whenever you have a negative thought or feeling in a real life scenario. Because once you catch yourself, you then have more options at your disposal as to how you choose to react to it, rather than feeling a negative emotion, unaware you're feeling it, but just acting from the emotion space, rather than feeling the emotion, catching yourself feeling the emotion, and then choosing what action is best for you. So meditation and mindfulness is going to allow you to build the fundamental skill base for self-compassion, gratitude, reframing, all of these important techniques to come from. The fifth technique is cognitive diffusion. So this is where you observe the negative thought you're having. So instead of identifying with a negative thought, like I'm so bad at this, you observe it and then you say, okay, notice I'm having the thought I'm bad at this. So you're not saying I'm bad at this. You are identifying it as just a thought. And by doing that, you are again reducing the potency and the sting and the pain that that thought can bring. But you've labeled it as just a thought. One of many, many, many thoughts you have, and that thought has probably not been generated by you. It's probably been something you've been conditioned to believe from someone else, or you've always believed about yourself that is simply not true. So by practicing cognitive diffusion, you are strengthening your mental capacity to be able to filter out what is genuinely true and what's not. And even if you think, well, I think I am bad at things, and it's so easy to identify with it because you feel the emotion. Instead, practice cognitive diffusion, label it as a thought, and just say, I'm experiencing this thought, but is this really me? What evidence is there that I'm bad at this? And if you find a point to evidence that suggests you're not good at something, then reframe it. Why does this keep happening? What can I do about it? So cognitive diffusion really provides a really good base board from you to analyze exactly the impact that these thoughts and feelings have on you and what strategies you can develop to help to overcome it. The sixth technique is affirmations. So these are personal statements that you recite to yourself, or that you read, or that you remind yourself of, that remind you just how capable you are. And the point of these statements is to counteract any potentially common negative thought or critique that you have about yourself. It could even be a critique that someone else gives to you, that they constantly remind you of, that you can just counteract that by saying, no, this is not me. I'm not going to allow myself to be defined by what this person says, or I'm not going to allow myself to listen to my own negative thoughts about, whatever's coming in my head. I'm going to remind myself I am capable, and I know I am because I've done this before. I know I can do it again, but it's just been difficult because I've allowed these negative thoughts and emotions to overwhelm me, and it's impeded my ability to take action. So affirmations are, again, one of the better starting points for you to be able to reclaim back control of exactly what it is you want to achieve and what you would like to overcome. The seventh technique, I don't think is really spoken about enough, is actually to volunteer. So if you're feeling really low or depressed and life's not making sense, you really are not enjoying life, volunteering can be quite an effective exercise because you're able to turn a negative experience you're having for yourself and use that to support others. So it's like a form of sublimation, which is turning a negative into a positive. So you're feeling low, go volunteer. If you've tried other techniques and it's not working, find somewhere where you can volunteer, where you can give back, you can support people. It might be working for a charitable cause or whatever it is. You're placing your energy and your time and your commitment and your actions rooted in an act that's serving other people or serving the community. So from this negative comes a positive. Now, the question is, am I going to feel better by doing that? And the answer is very likely yes. Because once you see the impact that your actions have through volunteering, that's going to feed back to you in a rewarding way. You might get a release of dopamine. You may just feel good. You may feel like I'm actually making a change. Even though I don't feel I have any control of my life, I'm actually doing something. So volunteering can be a very effective exercise. The 8th technique is having a solution-focused mindset. So this is where you are action-based and you're using and recruiting your logic. So let's say you're quite skilled or are now getting more comfortable with catching any negative feelings or thoughts that are coming. And let's say you're doing something for work and you have that thought saying, oh, you didn't do that task right, whatever. You catch it, like, okay, there may be some truth to that, that thought that I didn't do it right. But instead of me getting sad, instead of me becoming overwhelmed by it, instead of me getting low, what can we do about it? What can I do to make that task better? And so you're recruiting your logic and you're using your passion and turning it into motivation in order to find a solution to the problem or solutions to the negative experiences you're having. So what's the next step? What's the right move? Why is this happening to me? What action can I take to improve this outcome or to improve even how I'm feeling? It may be you're feeling low, you don't know what's going on. Okay, what can I do for myself? Can I go out for a walk outside to make myself feel better? Do I need to get fresh air? Do I need to just do something else entirely or do something I enjoy just for me? You are using and implementing a solution-focused mindset in order to find an answer to that problem and get out of that negative situation. The 9th technique is journaling or even creative writing. So it may be that you're upset with someone, you're feeling really low about it, you're feeling quite negative. There's nothing you can do to control the situation. You've tried to express your feelings to this person, could be in a relationship or at work, wherever. They're not listening or they're not willing to take the feedback on board. So what can I do? I'm now stuck with these negative emotions. I feel powerless. What can I do? Journaling or writing it down or even writing a letter to that person, even if you're not going to send it to them, just writing a letter can help you get everything out. It can help you release these negative emotions that you have. You get it out on paper. Some people even find it helpful to burn that piece of paper and the journal after they've written it. This helps to provide like a vessel, an external vessel for you to place your negative emotions out. The very process of writing it is quite therapeutic, and that may itself be very helpful, especially if you're quite artistic in nature. Another way is also drawing or doing some art, so creating music. These are quite artistic expressions of emotions, and music is one of the best ways to express our emotions. As you can see from many of the songs that people write about, it's often about love or relationships or pain. So use these more creative techniques to allow yourself the freedom and space and use your creativity and make it fun. Fun way to release any negative emotions that you have inside. The final technique I want to share with you is to connect with others. Really connect with other people, people that you trust and people that will hold the space to listen to you. Now, this is very different to someone giving you advice. Advice may not be helpful for you. What you may need is someone who just listens and wants to understand where you're coming from rather than saying, oh, I've been there before. I know how you're feeling. This is what you should do. Because the truth is they don't really know how you're feeling. Or if they do, they need to provide the opportunity for you to really express fully what's going on and where you're coming from. Because your solutions may be very different from theirs. So if you have that friend, if you're lucky enough to have that person in your life who truly listens, uses empathy and is warm and doesn't judge you and doesn't try to fix things, just listens, that can be a really helpful way for you to unload the negativity and use it as an opportunity. Ask them to reflect back what you've told them so you can hear back what you've said. Use it as an opportunity to grow, to learn. Be curious about what's going on for you. One of the challenges to undertaking these techniques and exercises is something called the negativity bias, which, according to evolutionary psychology, is when our brains are hardwired to think negatively or to seek out negative news over positive news, because that's what's kept us safe. We've always looked for threats or anything that might be a danger to our life, and that's what's helped keep us safe and more vigilant. And the problem is, especially now with social media, the news and the availability of the news, we see a lot of negative news out there, a lot of negative posts. We're reminded of it all the time. And that is not helpful because we can be very quickly and easily bombarded by things that we don't want to see or that really make us feel low. So in that case, just use your consciousness and awareness of how these negative news pieces or any negative situation has an impact on you, and use that to your advantage. Say, I understand the impact that this has. How can I reduce the impact that this has on me or minimize my experience of it, and instead do something that's more positive, more constructive, more productive, something I'm passionate about? How can I engage different areas of my brain like creativity, visualization, whatever it might be, to help you to counteract the negative experiences of life? So to summarize the techniques, we've spoken about reframing, gratitude, being self-compassionate, undertaking mindfulness and meditation, using cognitive diffusion, affirmations, volunteering, having a solution-focused mindset, journaling or doing artistic drawings, creative writing, or connecting with others. So this is absolutely crucial, helpful, and useful techniques that you can use to turn negativity into an opportunity. Think of 3 moments in your life that are particularly negative, challenge you. It could be that it's just unpleasant situation. It may be that you find yourself thinking negatively about yourself or being judged. Think of 3 examples of these negative experiences in your life and choose which of these techniques you are going to use to help counteract that and to help regain control over the way you deal with the negative situation and how you can turn it into a positive. Comment if there's a technique you use that's not covered in this video. I would love to hear about it. I would love to hear your experiences about it. Please like and subscribe. There's going to be more content coming out in the future, and I'll see you in the next one.